I'm just coming on a quite, it's just started to rain and it's quite a winter day today, and I want to talk to you about the pine tree. And we quite associate the pine with winter. And I'm standing here next to a lovely pine. You can look up, see how tall it is. It's lovely. I just want to talk to you about why the pine is such a useful tree for us. It's such a healing tree in medicinal terms, and why the tree has such symbolism in terms of spirituality and religion as well. So, having a look here, this tree has got this amazing bark. You can see it's quite flaky. It's almost like armour, and I don't know if you see here, a little woodlouse is just hanging out here. We were having to sleep or sheltering away there. So the tree, the bark is a bit like its armour, its protective shield, like our skin, and stops the tree from being attacked. And when the tree has a wound, it's quite an interesting wound here that the tree has had where the bark's come away. And what the tree has done is produced a substance called resin. And it's just like the tree's defence system. And this flaky bark here has come away, and it's revealed the cambium layer. So to protect the tree from invading insects, fungus, bacteria, the tree has produced this and coated the wound up. The resin is extremely protective, and if you have a little look here, you can see it coming down the tree up here. It's fabulous. It's like a golden amber liquid, and this resin can actually be used for us as well. If you have a little wound, a cut on your finger, or you have a burn or a small insect bite, you could take this and place it over the wound. You just pick off a little bit like that, and you put it over the wound. It acts to seal the wound, and it's also antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial, antiseptic. So it's a real good healer. It's also it's an amazing smelling substance. So if you were to burn this as incense in your house, it has a very cleansing air to it. The whole tree, you look here, the tree is associated with long life and longevity. Isn't that a beautiful view up there with the canopy? It's amazing. The tree is associated with long life and fertility. There's also a cleanser, a spiritual cleanser. So if you were feeling yourself feeling overloaded with toxins or negative energy, and you want to just maybe clear your head a bit, come and sit with a pine tree. They produce lots of chemicals to clean the air, but they also help to clear your mind and bring you back into yourself, and just uplift you really. They're quite fantastic. If you think about pine oil is a disinfectant, and we also use it for clearing the airwaves. So if you sort of inhale in a steam bath and you inhale pine oil, a bit like eucalyptus oil, it helps to actually clear the airwaves and clear anything out of the lungs. It's got expectorant properties as well. Pine oil is also really good to put in your bath if you're feeling that you are full of negative energy from other people. You can sort of go in the bath, and when the water washes away, the pine oil takes away all that negativity. It's quite lovely really. So coming down here, so we have the bark, we have the resin. This layer here underneath here where the wound was is called the cambium layer. So this is the living tissue of the tree, and this can be eaten. So if you were in the woods, people going to the woods, you didn't have much else to eat, you could actually cut a layer and eat it raw. The needles also, I can't find any green needles here today, as none dropped, but the needles, if you come down here, I did find some older needles. You can see they're quite brown now. So the needles can be chopped up when they're fresh and green and put into a tea, and the tea is full of vitamins, especially vitamin C. This is also really good around the world for people preventing things like scurvy, and quite a natural source of vitamin C and very powerful too. You put that into a tea. Not at the moment though, because they're quite brown. So these themselves make good fire lighting. So if you were to use these and the pine cones and you want to light a fire, burn easily, produce a lot of oil, and they smell lovely as well. I love the smell of pine. It's just so, it literally makes you feel cleansed and refreshed. It's lovely. So you've got the needles, and they're really good for you. And then there's the pine cone. We said the pine cone? They're lovely, aren't they? Look at that. Think about sacred geometry and the patterns on the pine cone. And so these also make good fire lighting. And if you think about the pine cone itself, is an amazing structure. If you look in here, these little bits here, they hold the seeds. And I think there's a little one there. The pine cone will only open when it's dry, so that the wind can take the seeds and they can travel on the air and potentially make new trees. If it's wet, the pine cone closes up, because otherwise the seeds might get stuck to this lovely bark here and not go anywhere. And these pine cones are amazing because when you take them off the tree, the mechanism still works. I have a pinecone that's 36 years old from France, and if I put water on it, it still closes up, and then it opens up again then when it's dried. It's amazing, amazing. Nature is just phenomenal. And the other thing about the pinecone is that you will see the pine represented, the pinecone, across many different cultures as being a symbol of religion and spirituality. There's a pinecone sculpture in the courtyard of the Vatican, and the Pope's staff has a pinecone on it. Lots of druidic figures and Bacchus, Dionysus, all had pinecones on their staffs, associated with ancient Egypt. And this is because it's related to a gland in our body, in the brain, called the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is about the size of a grain of rice, but it's said to be shaped like a pine cone. And this is associated with the sixth chakra, which is located in your brow between your two eyes. The third eye chakra, we call it. So when we do meditation and we go into sort of more dreamlike states, we're soon to be working with the pineal gland, which is accessing higher consciousness wisdom, wisdom from other planets or stars, or beyond our everyday life. So this has been used as a symbol to represent those dreaming states where we go beyond the everyday. And you will see this even here. I brought a little Buddha with me to show you. It's an Indian Buddha, and you look at the top of the Indian Buddha's head, and you see it's like a pine cone on the top of his head. And you'll often see this as well, to represent that higher wisdom. So the meditation puts you into those higher wisdom states. So when you look at a pine cone, you think, wow, that's fascinating, a beautiful looking object. There's more to it than meets the eye, or the third eye, should I say. But yeah, I'll put him down there next to the lovely pine cone. So if you go out in winter now, maybe go and sit with a pine tree. Very spiritually enlightening tree. Thank you very much.